Hello, everybody, and welcome to Realty Success. So excited to have everybody join us today. We've got a really interesting show. We've got joining us Ashley Glinka and George Ray, and they're with a company called Critical Threat. And they're going to talk about being aware of your situation to stay safe as a realtor out in the field.
Hi, so I'm Ashley Glinka. I have over 15 years in the safety industry. Prior to now working with Critical Threat, I was Federal Air Marshal for almost 10 years, flying domestic and international missions. During that time, I also worked in our investigation unit, working at the Terrorist Screening Center with the White House, and I specialize in situational intelligence and behavior detection.
I'm George. I've spent about 30 years in the military through DoD and with DHS, and I specialize in behavioral detection, investigations, and situational intelligence surveillances.
You guys had mentioned earlier that you lock the door. I don't know that I've ever locked a door, ever, showing.
See, I regularly, probably high percentage of the time, I lock the door behind my clients.
Yeah, I guess I've never really thought about it. I always just figured if someone came in, I would make sure that they were detained.
Actually, so Aaron and I are on a team. We run our own business together. And so he says he's cavalier, but he is not cavalier in any regard. When it comes to me, he's very, very protective. We always meet clients together. And so if we both don't feel good about the client, then we don't work with them. There are people where he says, this can be a great transaction and I can help him. You will never show this person. You will never show this client. And so he's not cavalier at all when it comes to my safety. But we get a lot of sign calls and we do get a lot of business that way. We meet them together and he's very business savvy and I'm a lot more emotional and feely. And I'm like, I just don't have a good gut feeling about that one. I just don't. And he's like, okay, we won't work with them. So he's like, you're the one that's going to be out showing. And if you don't feel safe, we won't do it.
So if a person remembers seeing a situation or they've been in a situation that makes them feel uneasy, that sixth sense, that gut feeling, the hair standing up on the back of your neck, all that is a reflection of something that they remember. It's just a subconscious thing, whether or not they remember seeing it on TV as a way a criminal can do something or something like that. So listening to your gut is very important.
And one thing we talk about a lot in our classes are like the physiological and the psychological indicators of those behaviors that people are giving off, because words can lie. Like people can lie with their words, but their actions aren't going to lie. And a lot of those actions are those unconscious things, those subconscious that are occurring. And there's been studies back in the 80s where in New York, they took video just on Fifth Avenue of people walking. And then they showed it to a bunch of inmates who were serving life terms. And they're like, okay, pick out who's the people that you would attack, like which people would be your victims. And they found through this study that every victim chosen was chosen by the same inmates. And they're like, so why did you pick these people? They were like, they would be an easy target. I can tell that I'd be able to talk to them and just kind of worm my way in. So recognizing that we can give off those signals too, but then what signals are people wanting to do violence to? What are they getting off? Are they sweating? Are they looking you in the eye?
So when somebody's planning to do something nefarious, their heart rate goes up, even if they can control it. So they start getting that flushed look. They start staring off in the distance because they're looking at their target and they don't realize that they're focused on it. So they start looking at the target more. They can get the pulsating vein in their neck or their forehead, which if you're in front of them and talking to them, you'll be able to see it. But if you're far away, you wouldn't. Clenching fists, profusely sweating, or it may be the opposite. They may avoid eye contact altogether. So a person who recognizes that they're giving those symbols, those signs, right? If I know that I'm going to victimize somebody and I know that I have a problem, I always stare at things or something, then I'm constantly going to be looking at them, but looking away from them because I don't want them to know that I'm staring. Or if I know that I clench my fists when I'm doing something, so now the person's going to have their hands wide open because they don't want to clench their fists. And these are all things that they don't think about doing, that they don't think, but they subconsciously do. For our situational intelligence course, there's something it's called Proxemics. And Proxemics talks about not just the behavior of the individual who's going to cause harm, but the behavior of the individuals around that person. So if I'm going to be the one that's causing harm and I'm sitting here and I told Ashley that I'm going to do this, she's going to be giving off signs differently because I'm here. She may not want to look at me. She may not want to make eye contact with me. She may just shun me altogether. So when you make contact with her, she might jump. So you can look at the behaviors of the people around that individual in the group and find the person who's going to do something nefarious.
I was always just told I was way too sensitive.
Well, I mean, like, probably like an empath, like, you know, you read people, you're comfortable with it. So especially if I think a lot of people get told they're sensitive because they listen to their guts a lot. And so you're in tune to your body. You're listening to yourself. I think a situation, like a real life situation we can bring that kind of brings all that together too, is one of our clients. She went on this conference trip, realized she forgot something. So she had a rental car. She ran to the store to pick up what she needed. And she was in the parking lot, and she said there was this guy. He was pacing in front of the store. And she's like, I was sitting in my car, and we tell people, like, look around your environment when you get to a place before you exit your vehicle, that sort of thing. Like, and she's like, he wasn't looking at anything. He was just like dead stare, pacing by the doors. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I was like, it's not right. Like, I'm going somewhere else. She watched the 6 o'clock news. He robbed the store. And she's like, I was flipping through them at the hotel, and I was like, I was there. She's like, so wow. If I would have gone into the store, like, would he have done it while I was there, or like whenever? She goes, but it was just that intuition being right. So I mean, you guys know your clients, you know the area that you're doing your work in. What's outside of the norm for that area? If you do luxury real estate, then someone coming in and like a beat up truck and paint clothes and everything, maybe outside the norm. Okay, is that going to kind of send a sense a little more like, okay, this doesn't seem right for this neighborhood, for my clientele, my usual, or if a client suddenly acting totally different, that's something in context.
It's been fascinating, the psychology of feeling safe or unsafe and being aware of that. And we really appreciate you sharing that with us. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate you. That was so insightful.
Thank you.